22nd of June 1986. Mexico City. Estadio Azteca. Diego Maradona jumps for a high ball with Peter Shilton, a goalkeeper 20 centimetres taller than him. Maradona's left fist hits the ball first. It loops over Shilton and into the England net. Maradona begins to celebrate. But here is the part most commentary misses. He celebrates while glancing sideways at the referee and the linesman. To see if he got away with it, he did. Argentina won the match 2-1. Argentina won the tournament. And one of the most famous goals in football history is a punch. That moment, with one camera angle and an earpiece, never happens today. It is overturned in 30 seconds, and it is not the only one. Today we are walking through 7 World Cup moments that VAR and goal line technology would have erased the instant the ball stopped moving. We just covered the most famous one. The next 6 get progressively stranger. A ghost goal that crossed the line by half a metre. An offside that was not even close. A golden goal stolen in Dijon. A country eliminated by a flag that should never have gone up. And the closing moment is Diego Maradona again, 4 years after the first one, doing exactly the same thing, and getting away with it twice. The most consequential goal in English football history might not have been a goal. Extra time, score level at 2-2. Alan Ball crosses, Geoff Hurst swivels in the box, and unleashes a shot that hits the underside of the crossbar, comes straight down and bounces back out. Swiss referee Gottfried Dienst sprints over to his Azerbaijani linesman Tofik Bahramov. They confer for several seconds. Bahramov nods. The goal is given. England go 3-2 up. They will win the World Cup minutes later. Bahramov in the years after did not change his mind. In his memoirs he wrote that he believed the ball had bounced not from the crossbar but from the net itself, which to him made the question of where it landed afterwards irrelevant. He went to his grave insisting it was a goal. The most cited modern analyses by researchers at Imperial College London and Oxford suggest the whole ball never crossed the line. Only about half of it did, roughly 18 centimetres short of being a goal under the laws of the game. Other studies disagree. The truth is that nobody has ever proved it either way, and nobody ever will. England's only ever World Cup title rests on those 18 centimetres. With goal line technology, the score stays 2-2. Extra time continues, and the entire history of English football may have looked different. Bahramov died in 1993. There is a statue of him outside the National Stadium in Baku. Germans still call any disputed goal hitting the crossbar a Wembley tour. 44 years later, the universe collected its debt. England were 2-1 down to Germany in the round of 16 in Bloemfontein. It's the 38th minute. Frank Lampard chips a shot that hits the underside of the crossbar, drops down and bounces a full metre behind the goal line. It was not close. It was not subjective. Replays would later show the entire ball had crossed by at least half a metre. Uruguayan referee Jorge Larrionda did not give the goal. His assistant Mauricio Espinosa did not give it either. Espinosa later admitted in an interview with El País that he had been tracking the German defensive line for offside and had not seen the shot properly. England, who would have been level at 2-2 with all the momentum, lost 4-1. After the match, FIFA finally accepted what the rest of the world had been arguing for 44 years. Goal line technology was approved by IFAB within 2 years. The Lampard goal is, in a strange way, the moment that finally made the technology inevitable, and the moment that opened the door to VAR a few years later. It just came too late for England. A few hours before Lampard's ghost goal, on the same day, in the same tournament, Argentina were playing Mexico in the round of 16. Lionel Messi chips the ball into the box. Carlos Tevez heads it home. The crowd celebrates. Then the stadium's big screen, in front of everyone, plays the replay. Tevez was not just offside, he was so offside that, under the rule that requires 2 opponents between an attacker and the goal, there were 0. After the match, Tevez had this to say, "I know I was offside, I know it was selfish, but as long as they say it is a goal, it is okay for me and the team." It is one of the only times in World Cup history that the offending player has admitted to a goal being illegal in his own post-match interview. Argentina went on to win 3-1. Mexico went home. So far we have covered 4 moments that would have been overturned within a minute. The next 3 are not just bad calls. They are the kind of decisions that ended careers, broke nations, and made one referee end up in a New York prison cell. Italy versus South Korea, round of 16. The Italian squad that night included Buffon, Cannavaro, Nesta, Maldini, Totti, Del Piero, and Vieri. On paper, one of the best teams of the tournament. They were sent home by an Ecuadorian referee named Byron Moreno, who made so many wrong decisions in 120 minutes that a senior Italian cabinet minister publicly called him a disgrace. The two killer moments came in extra time. First, Francesco Totti was dragged down in the South Korean penalty area by Song Chong-guk. Moreno did not give a penalty. He showed Totti a second yellow card for diving and sent him off. Italy were down to 10 men. Then, with the score still level, Damiano Tommasi ran onto a ball and finished what should have been the golden goal that won Italy the match. The linesman Jorge Ratalino raised his flag for offside. Replays showed conclusively that Tommasi was onside. The goal was disallowed. 3 minutes from the end, Ahn Jung-hwan scored for South Korea. Italy were out. The story did not end there. 3 months later, Moreno was suspended for 20 matches by his own federation in Ecuador after a separate match in which he added 13 minutes of stoppage time and gave a contentious late penalty. He retired in disgrace in 2003. In September 2010, he was arrested at JFK Airport in New York with 10 plastic bags containing 6 kilograms of heroin strapped to his body. He pleaded guilty and served roughly 2 years in prison. When the news of the arrest broke, Buffon was asked to comment. He said, 6 kilos of drugs. He had them already in 2002, but not in his underwear. In his body. Damiano Tommasi's goal would have changed Italy's entire trajectory. We will never know what they could have done, because one man, on one night, made it impossible to know. Bosnia and Herzegovina were playing in their first ever World Cup. Group F already lost their opening match, already on the brink. Against Nigeria in Cuiabá, they needed 3 points to keep hope of advancing alive. 21st minute. Zvezdan Misimovic slipped a through ball between two Nigerian defenders. Edin Dzeko ran onto it, beat the goalkeeper and slotted it into the net. The Bosnian bench began to celebrate. Then the flag went up. It was not offside. Replays showed Dzeko was clearly in line with the last defender. The flag should never have gone up. The man who raised it was a New Zealand linesman called Mark Rule, a podiatrist from Palmerston North. The referee, fellow New Zealander Peter O'Leary, accepted his call. Nigeria scored the only goal of the game in the second half through Peter Odemwingie. Bosnia lost 1-0. With that single result, Bosnia were mathematically eliminated. Their first World Cup. Over. What happened after the match made it worse. A photograph emerged of O'Leary hugging the Nigerian goalkeeper Vincent Enyama at the final whistle. Dzeko called the referee shameful. A petition demanding O'Leary be sent home gathered more than 20,000 signatures. He received death threats serious enough that New Zealand police liaised with Interpol over his family's safety. In November 2014, 5 months after the match, O'Leary gave an interview to the New Zealand Herald. He admitted formally and on record that the goal should have stood. In his own words, it was an obvious mistake. A whole country's first World Cup ended on an apology that came too late. With VAR, the flag goes down within seconds. Bosnia has a goal. The match changes. Their tournament might continue. None of that happened. Because in 2014, the World Cup still let one raised flag end a nation's dream. Here is the part of the story almost nobody outside Argentina knows. 4 years after the hand of God, Maradona was back at a World Cup. Argentina were playing the Soviet Union in the group stage. They needed a result. In the first half, the USSR launched a corner into the Argentine box. The ball was looping towards goal, past the Argentine goalkeeper, about to cross the Argentine goal line, and Diego Maradona, standing on his own line, raised his left hand and punched it clear. The referee, Erik Fredriksson of Sweden, did not see the handball. He did not give the penalty. He did not send Maradona off. The Soviet players were apoplectic. The replays were clear. The handball was not subtle. It was the same fist, the same player, the same crime and the same outcome. He got away with it. Argentina won the match 2-0. They progressed from the group. They made it all the way to the World Cup final. In 2005, Maradona himself confirmed the handball on Argentine television. 12 years later, in 2017, he was even more explicit. He told FIFA.com, "At the 1990 World Cup, I used my hand to clear the ball off the line against the Soviet Union. We were lucky because the referee did not see it." Diego Maradona, the greatest footballer of his generation, played at 2 World Cups in a row and used his hand to alter the course of both of them. Once to score, once to save. Both times completely unpunished. So, why does the hand of God still matter 40 years later? Why are we still talking about a punch from 1986? Because it is the single clearest reminder that for almost a century, football was decided by what one man could see in real time, from one angle while running. England's only World Cup, Italy's stolen golden goal, Bosnia's lost first tournament, Mexico's grievance, Germany's revenge that took 44 years to land. All of them turn on one camera angle nobody had, one replay nobody could check, and a question nobody could ask. Maradona himself in the same 2017 interview said this: "If instant replay had existed, the hand of God goal would not have counted." He knew. He always knew. The player who benefited most from football's pre-VAR era was the first one to admit the system was broken. In 2026, when the World Cup begins across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, every goal will be checked, every offside drawn, and every handball reviewed. The kind of moments we just walked through cannot happen anymore, which is good, but also in a way, sad, because they are the moments that made football mythology. The hand of God is famous precisely because it was wrong. Hurst's goal is famous because nobody can prove it. Lampard's miss is famous because the universe took 44 years to balance the books. The next World Cup will be the cleanest in history. There will be no hand of God, no Tomasi, no Lampard, and maybe, just maybe, we will miss them a little.